Don't act silly, my man. But how about here? I gotta put you in cuffs because when we go in the county, you have to go in cuffs.
On April 29th, 2022, a young girl, just 16 years old, stood waiting for her school bus when her morning took a terrifying turn. A surveillance camera recorded the chilling moments that unfolded next. A man arrived, parking his vehicle with intentions far from benign. He approached the unsuspecting girl and, in a brazen act of aggression, snatched her phone away. The struggle that ensued was one-sided. The girl fought with all her might, gripping a nearby fence as her anchor in this storm of fear. The man's resolve wavered as he realized his plan was crumbling. To manipulate her, he offered her phone back, only to cruelly toss it at her when she refused to yield. It was then that the girl saw her chance. With a burst of adrenaline-fueled courage, she broke free and dashed onto the safety of her bus. The assailant, seeing his plot foiled, made a hasty retreat in his white Ford Mustang. The girl's bravery in those terrifying moments ensured her escape from what could have been an unthinkable fate. A witness had come forward with a detailed description of both a suspect and their vehicle. This crucial information led the police to a gas station where they located the car in question.
We'll talk to you in a second. Someone's gonna come and talk to you here and explain everything that's going on. You got an ID? Alright. You put your ID out, my man?
Yeah, ID, sir?
Well, someone's gonna come talk to you.
I'm going to jail?
No.
You got your ID on?
Huh?
No.
Oh,
You'd be out of the car in handcuffs right now if you were, my man. Are you the owner of the car?
Yes, I am.
You got valid license and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Alright.
The officers approached the vehicle with caution and professionalism. They engaged in a conversation with the occupants, a standard procedure in such situations. The driver was asked for identification, which is a routine request by law enforcement to establish the identity of individuals involved. The police reassured the driver that they were not under arrest and that their cooperation was needed for an ongoing investigation. It was made clear that the focus of their inquiry was related to the passenger and not directly involving the driver. During this exchange, there was a sense of confusion and concern from those inside the vehicle. They were unsure of what was happening and why they were being stopped. The officers maintained a calm demeanor throughout, explaining that they were simply following up on leads related to an earlier event. The driver confirmed that he was indeed the owner of the car and assured the officers that he had a valid license. The officers continued to communicate effectively, ensuring that everyone remained calm and understood that this was part of their investigative process.
Hey, De'Aaron, you want to come back and sit in my car and he could talk to you in private?
I'm in trouble?
No. If you're, like I said, my man, if you're in trouble, we already grabbed you out of the car and your car's in park and everything. I'll let you know what's up.
He's the detective and he's the sergeant, so he'll be able to answer any questions you got,
I'll
okay?
get my keys out my car.
Your car's fine here, man. Ain't no one gonna your shit.
The officers found it necessary to ensure that there were no weapons on the person they were speaking with. This is a standard safety procedure for police when they are in the midst of handling a situation that may involve risks. They asked the individual to sit in their car, indicating that this would be a private conversation, likely about sensitive matters. During this time, there was also a focus on respecting personal property. The officers made it clear that they would not tamper with or disturb any of the individual's belongings. This is important as it helps maintain trust between law enforcement and civilians during such interactions.
Will she identify as her?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to be rude or insensitive. I just didn't know which way to go with it, and there's no easy way of talking about it. Just have a seat, and he'll come talk to you. He wants to talk to her. Something's going on with her.
Yeah, I gotta do all this?
Yeah. Put your feet in. I'll roll the windows down. I'm gonna sit in the car with you and hang out.
A notable part of the conversation was the respectful clarification of gender identity. This shows an awareness and sensitivity towards personal identity, which is crucial in all forms of communication, especially in situations that can be as stressful as police inquiries. The driver was reassured that their car was fine where it was parked and that they should relax while waiting for further information. An officer stayed with them, likely to provide company and ensure that they felt secure while the investigation continued.
The main issue is her, so you can relax, man. I ain't bullshitting you. The main thing is her. So that's why I think he just, yeah, no, the main thing is her.
This scenario illustrates the various aspects of police work, from ensuring safety and gathering information to showing respect for personal identity and property. The officers were trying to reassure the person that the main focus of their investigation was not on them, but on another person. The officers emphasized that if there had been a serious issue concerning the person they were speaking with, the situation would have been handled differently, possibly with handcuffs. This was meant to provide some comfort and to convey that they were not considered a threat or a primary suspect in whatever matter was being investigated. The reassurance continued as the officers pointed out that all attention was directed towards another person, suggesting that being in the wrong company at the wrong time can lead to unintended complications.
I appreciate you cooperating. You know, people swoop down on me, I'd be like, what the fuck, too? No, I don't think so. I'll be honest, I don't think anyone's going to jail. Like, well, he's a detective, and I think she's saying something, so I think I don't know. I know, man. If I was in a car and a cop swooped in on me like that, my heart would be beating pretty good too, man.
They appreciated the cooperation of the individual and acknowledged that such an encounter with law enforcement could be startling and cause anxiety. In a more personal turn, one officer reflected on how such an event could affect someone's state of mind, empathizing with the feeling of having one's heart racing during an unexpected police intervention. The conversation then shifted towards life choices and decisions, with an officer noting that the individual had recently faced challenges and found themselves in a difficult situation shortly after.
When all this is over with, my man, I'd be done with, you know what I mean? I'm coming into 5 minutes of your life, my man. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like it. When did you get out? 4 days ago, and look where you're at already. So, you know what I mean? How old are you? I'm 30, so I think it's time to make a little bit better decisions. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I think she's trying to get you in trouble.
The officer took this moment to offer some advice, suggesting that it might be time for the individual to make better decisions moving forward, especially considering their age and potential for change. The implication was that the choices one makes can have significant consequences, and it's important to steer clear of situations that could lead to trouble.
We have on him from this morning, after he left your house, you said between 6 and 6:30. He drove down Arlington to Neville, parked his car on Neville, walked up to the bus stop at the corner of Arlington and Neville. There was a 16-year-old girl that was standing there waiting for the bus to go to school. He kind of stood around, pretending like he was waiting for the bus for a couple minutes, and he grabbed her and tried to drag her back to his car. She grabbed onto the fence there, fought him off.
A detective arrived at the scene and informed a man about his rights according to the Miranda ruling, which is a standard procedure in the United States when someone is taken into custody. The man they were speaking to strongly denied any wrongdoing, specifically being at a bus stop where an incident occurred. Despite his denial, there was video evidence that told a different story. The footage showed that after leaving a house early in the morning, the man drove to a certain location and parked his car. He then approached a bus stop where a 16-year-old girl was waiting alone. Pretending to wait for the bus himself, he suddenly attempted to drag her towards his car. The girl resisted fiercely, holding onto a nearby fence. When she saw the bus approaching and started screaming for help, the man threw her phone back at her and fled in his car. The nature of his intentions remained unclear, whether it was to sexually assault or abduct the girl, but his actions were undoubtedly criminal. The entire ordeal was captured on camera, providing irrefutable evidence of his attempt.
So I'm still filling them out, you know, but...
Okay, so he didn't say about other than going to Minuteman. Did he say he went to Minuteman, or
he said he was going to go there, and he didn't say he did. He just said he was going to go there. We're kind of like in this thing where I'm trying not to have him have control over me, and I'm trying not to have control over him, so I pretty much don't ask too many questions, you know, I just go and kind of, you know, as long as it's respectful, I don't really ask any questions.
She expressed surprise over an action taken by the other, stating that it was uncharacteristic and not something they would expect from them. This indicates that people can sometimes act in ways that are not immediately understandable to those around them. The conversation also touched upon the concept of control within their interaction. It was mentioned that there was a conscious effort to avoid being controlled by the other person. Instead, there was an attempt to reverse this dynamic and be the one in control.
In this world, man, there's cameras everywhere. So I ain't trying to bull. I'm just telling you, I'm sure you've been to court and you see how things go in court. If you're honest and cool and tell people you or whatever, it goes a lot easier. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays with the judges the way they are.
You got your food stamp card?
He does. It's in his wallet.
Don't come.
I'll put some money in there, but here, I'm gonna just give you some money to take with you. Just call me when you can.
The guy was given advice about the importance of honesty, especially in legal matters. The advice highlighted that in today's world, where surveillance is ubiquitous and everything can be recorded, being truthful is the best policy. This is particularly true in court, where honesty can lead to more lenient treatment by judges. He was also reminded of their full autonomy and power in the situation. However, due to legal procedures when entering county facilities, they were instructed to be handcuffed. This was not an act of aggression, but a standard procedure for the safety and protocol of law enforcement.
Hey, don't act silly, my man. But how about here? I gotta put you in cuffs because when we go into county, you have to go in cuffs. So when you get out, just face that way. I'm not moving, but just face that way. And put your hands on your back, all right?
Later, the man was sentenced to 5 years for abduction. This sentence was compounded by his previous criminal record, which included burglary and weapons offenses. The severity of his sentence was influenced by his recent release from prison just 4 days prior to the abduction incident. But if you think that was crazy, then you haven't met this guy at your right-hand side.